And welcome back! Like I said last time, this is a bit of an awkward intro. I don't even know what it's gonna look like. Maybe just a freeze frame. But this conversation with Elil ended up taking quite a long time, so I'm just gonna start it off now in this episode. And enjoy! Oh. Now we can talk about this. Interesting. You said I could ask later about why you're not a god anymore. Is it later yet? Have you changed your mind yet? Sure. ... Alright, you know what? It's late enough in the game now that it probably doesn't matter if I tell you. Listen up, because I'm only gonna talk about this once, okay? So, as you know... Ooh, new music. I used to be a god back in the day. I was part of this whole rigmarole, buddy. I could create new worlds just like the other gods. Back then, none of us kept any memories when things started over. The arrangement for me to do that hadn't been made yet. But now I can remember things even from way back then. So I remember what it was like to create new worlds. Having all that power, it was irresistible for me, oh god. So much so that, I really hated not being the creator. Oh god, I see. At some point, I came up with a plan. A way to make sure no one could be the creator except me. Did he, invent the crown, and he just made it for himself every time or something? And it worked. The other gods fell for it, and I put a stop to all these endless iterations of worlds, and gave myself the power to rule one new world forever. I'd be forever feared, forever worshipped, forever envied. Heh, how's that sound to you, buddy? I don't think I'd ever want that kind of power. I can see why you wanted things to be that way. I don't think either of these are really, I mean, I can see why he would want that, but I guess I don't, agree with it. But saying this is, I don't know. I kind of feel both. I might just lean more towards this, honestly. I get why he would have done that, but I also get that it's wrong and why he... I mean, we'll see what happened to him, I guess. I'll say this, I think. Yeah, it's not too hard to understand, right? Even if we're not aware of it during this phase, we gods have ways we think the world should be. Almost everyone does, gods or not. Having to see the world operate in a way that's not how you want it to be, that can be infuriating. But if I'm honest, I did what I did mostly out of sheer greed. Well, you're being honest about it, and self-reflecting, and the other gods knew it. Eventually, they decided the only way to stop me was to start a war against me. I kept them at bay for a long time, buddy. Oh my god, is that Elil? Holy shit! The amount of power a creator gets is beyond what you can imagine, unless you've experienced it. Oh man, it was a battle to end all battles. Went on for years. You normally don't like to interfere during that phase. Oh god. But even you fought me. And you all won in the end. Oh boy. You defeated me, put an end to my rule, and my world. Most of the gods thought I needed to be locked away forever for what I did, or worse. But you disagreed. You proposed an arrangement. In exchange for my life, I would agree to make sure what I had done would never occur again. By remembering what happens when no one else does. Who am I to make these fucking choices? Jesus. I'd never be able to create another world. I'd rule over nothing. I wouldn't be a god anymore. Instead, I would guide you as you give advice to the others, and protect the very process of endless death and rebirth that I try to destroy. That doesn't sound good. That sounds like he's the villain, because I want to break the cycle now. I guess? Do I? Forever. Heh, I figured that arrangement was better than eternal imprisonment. Or not existing. So I accepted it, and the rest is history. That is a lot to take in. Ha ha ha. That's putting it lightly, buddy. But there's still one more kicker. Oh man, this is taking a while. In order to make sure I didn't try to corrupt any of the gods in their unknowing, unremembering states, the other part of the deal was that none of them would be able to see or hear or otherwise sense me anymore. Oh god! Right, because no one has talked about Elil ever. I didn't even think about that. Like, the creatures sometimes mentioned, oh, have you heard about this, like, eel with golden scales? And I was like a legend. But none of the main gods have ever mentioned him, right? Holy crap. That's a fucking, like, M. Night Shyamalan twist. Jesus. Only you would perceive me, so that I could guide you and discuss your decisions with you. That's why I watch what goes on around here, and wait for you to come by. It's all I've got left. I'm sorry I did this to you. Do you ever regret what you did? I don't really know what to say. I guess I'm not really sorry. I mean, it's harsh, but if he needed to be stopped, I suppose. I'm gonna say that. Oh boy, he might not have liked that. Not really, buddy. It's been so long now, I don't have any strong feelings about it anymore. But I mean, you gave me another chance. I don't like our arrangement a whole lot, but it's probably more than I deserve. Considering what you did, yeah, it's a pretty generous deal. Elil, I'm glad I gave you a second chance. I think you've made good use of it. Bah, you're making me blush here, buddy. Come on. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder what I'd do if you gave me the power to be the creator again. If you gave me the power, yeah, I guess I'm God or something. Somehow, like, the Almighty, I feel. It's really strange. Or just like an arbiter or mediator of some kind, I don't know. I'm not really sure I've changed. I'd probably try the same thing, even knowing it would fail. Maybe not, though. Fortunately for all of us, we won't have to find out. Alright, okay, that's enough. I said I'd tell ya, and now there's nothing more to say. Let's talk about something else. Okay. And now we're back. Oh man, this is awful. I'm just recording all those 3 sections in a row, and it feels so jarring to me. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, there we are. We are, what, like 8 minutes into this episode? Something like that at this point. And we've talked to Elil. And despite him being, like, almost sort of malicious, I mean, it's not really. I guess, yeah, he's just power hungry, and kind of for good reason. Like, it does corrupt. Power corrupts, and it's basically an addiction, I can imagine. Especially if, I mean, I assume, it's kind of weird, because, like, how did this even happen, now that I'm thinking about it? Because Elil didn't remember everything in every cycle to begin with, right? So why did he suddenly, like, get so addicted to the power and the thought of being the ruler that he never wanted to let it up and wanted to be it every time? How did he even, like, realize that he wanted to do that? Wouldn't every time be as if it's the first time? So every time the selection process is going on, he wouldn't know that he even had the ability to become the creator and create a new world. Did I miss something? Because that's kind of confusing. Because it wasn't until after, with the punishments, when he was taken down, that's when he was, like, the only one that doesn't forget, that just observes and guides me in my advice and choices and stuff, right? So yeah, that part is confusing. I feel like I just have to watch this back in editing to listen to it again, because now the whole episode breakpoint jumble is making things unclear to me. But at least Elil, despite the greed and whatnot, he was very open about it and honest, and like almost impartial in a way, just stating the facts. So I can appreciate that. But enough about Elil for now. We're done talking about him. Maybe there's more to it. I don't feel like we're ever gonna reach a point where we explore more of Elil's story to the point where, like, oh, we give him back the power to be a god or something. That would be incredibly interesting. Don't really see that happening. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. But for now, we need to go back to... Well, do we need to go back to Ketcher Nesty? Yeah, we do. There's more stuff to do with Ketcher Nesty, so we'll do that first, right? Because there's no point, like, talking about Ketcher Nesty or something, right? The twins... it's the same. And the twins. Best buddies. Okay, yep. Nothing has changed there. Let's check in what they're up to. Oh, I'm pressing... Why am I pressing F? Is that like Warframe or something? I don't even know. I'm like muscle memory pressing keys. F, I think, is my interact key in that game. Hi again, new friend. Want to play a game with us or talk about something? Would you two mind telling me more about the crystal? Sure. What about it? I wanted to know if you felt the crystal truly makes you happy. Could you remind me what the crystal does? I mean, I'm just gonna say that. Yeah, it really does, new friend. It's way better than never seeing anything from our home again, you know? Yeah, if we didn't have the crystal, I think we'd be a lot sadder. I mean, it'd be even better if our parents would just... Never mind. Ketri, Esti, does the crystal have something to do with why you left the palace? How could it? New friend, there's... kind of a lot to explain about that. Yeah, and if we tell you how we got here, you have to promise not to tell anyone else. Oh boy, here we go, another long story, perhaps? Do you promise? Of course, your secret's safe with me, except Elil is probably sitting right here, like, nodding and listening. Alright, thanks, new friend. So, the ocean is not our real home. We used to live in the palace, far, far away from here. You already knew that, though. What you didn't know is that we lived in the palace because our parents were the king and queen. Wasn't that also obvious? Of course they were, like, prince and princess. I thought that was, like, so clear, but the question is why they aren't there now. They made big decisions that changed how everyone lived. Also, our mom and dad had powers. Just like us, runs in the family, you know? They used their powers to do really cool things. They gave everyone jobs and places to live. But if anyone broke our parents' rules, they'd get punished. Oh, so like, they did something bad and it was like, well, you did something bad, we can't, like, no nepotism allowed, we can't just, like, look the other way because you're our kids. Or something. And if they did something bad enough, our parents would open a portal and banish them to an awful place. Forever. How did you feel about that? Wow, that's pretty scary. I'll just say that. We used to think certain people deserved to get banished like that. I don't know if that's true anymore. Anyway... Our mom and dad worked really hard to teach us how to use our powers. There they are, the whole family. Yep, you saw some of the things we can do, like the barrier. But they taught us lots of other powers too, like how to move stuff with our minds, and how to banish people. Did they expect you to use those powers on anyone else? I'm glad you two used the barrier when we met instead of banishing me. Oh god. I'll say that. Yeah, they did. Our mom and dad used to say, we had to use our powers to keep the peace. Like, it was our duty to make sure everyone followed the rules, and to keep big wars from happening. Mom and dad said the people outside the palace were dangerous. And, well, that was true sometimes. Our parents banished people for killing each other or hurting workers at the palace. Mom and Dad said if anyone needed to be punished, we had to do it. Wait, do you mean we had to do it no matter what? Or we had to do it no matter what? Like, did they have to do it, or just... I'm assuming the latter, just like, if they need to be punished, we have to punish them. We'd be putting everyone in danger if we didn't. So eventually, they started making us banish people too. Yeah, there we go. And usually we were okay with that, but one time it was different. What happened? A bunch of people decided to protest in the streets outside the palace. They were really loud and saying they didn't want our parents to make decisions for them anymore. Down with dictatorship! I see. Or, well, monarchy, I suppose. But nobody was hurting anyone else, or making threats or anything. Our parents, though, oh god. They rounded up all the people who were protesting. They brought them to the palace and called for Ketri and me. They said we had to banish them. Jesus Christ. All of them. Even though they didn't hurt anyone. We couldn't do it. It wasn't fair. All the people wanted was something different. When we refused, Mom and Dad said they still had to be punished. So, our parents made us watch as they opened the biggest portal we've ever seen and banished all of them anyway. They really hated us for that. They said we were failures and that all the time they spent raising us was a waste, teaching us to use our powers only for us to turn out too weak to do what had to be done. So they banished us next. Jesus Christ. Okay, well, this is not even like anything up for debate, according to this anyway. Like, I was expecting it to be something where they fucked up somehow, or like they were mean-spirited or just immature and did something that was wrong, and by the like law that everyone had to be punished no matter what, no like favoritism or whatever, it would have been like, oh, we have to punish Ketri and Esti and banish them, or else like what good is our rule, or something like that. But nope, that's not it. This is just Mom and Dad are fucking jerks. That's the story here. We were so scared because we had no idea where we'd end up. But before they banished us, they gave us the crystal and said they might let us come back someday if they felt like we deserved it. So that's how we got here, and that's why we have the crystal. We need it so we'll know if our parents want us back. That's terrible. I'm so sorry this happened to you both. How could they do that to you? You don't really want to go back to parents like that, do you? I mean, I can understand, I guess. Like, this is one situation. I mean, assuming they must have had good relationships and lives before then. Like, they obviously think fondly of their parents if they long so much to go home. So I feel like... But this is such a, like, wet noodle thing to say. It's just... That doesn't advance anything. That's... Even though that is probably the better choice here. Maybe they'll just be angry if I say that, but... They've been so, like, honest with me and not really lashing out, so I feel like I should say this and just, like, get their view on it instead of just like, oh, that sucks. Too bad. Yeah, I'll say this. But there's still our mom and dad, though. Yeah, that was exactly what I assumed. Yeah. We just keep wondering what we could have done to make it not happen. It was your parents' choice to do what they did, not yours. None of this was your fault. Your parents wronged you. They're the ones who deserve to be punished, not you. I mean, sure, but like, that's kind of irrelevant to this situation. Like, whether the parents are jackasses or not and should be punished or whatever, that doesn't change anything for Ketri and Esti, so it's probably better to just go at it from this angle. Like, Ketri and Esti did nothing wrong, so they shouldn't be upset about it in that sense, but I don't even know if they are. Let's just say this. ... Yeah, I guess that might be true. It's been so long now that it almost feels like a dream. Like the worst nightmare ever. But it really did happen. So this must really have been a long time ago, because, like, assuming they relive this memory over and over and over and over, this, like, for all we know, if this is stuck in some time loop and that previous world is not, then surely it has to be also part of the whole cycle thing, because otherwise the live streaming crystal wouldn't work, right? Or maybe it is a recording after all, and it's just showing the same, like, time span in the cycle, even though the actual place that it used to show for real is long gone. I don't know. The crystal reminds us of that too. I don't think you two should keep the crystal. Maybe it's helpful in certain ways, but it's also causing you a lot of pain, isn't it? You two should keep holding on to the crystal. It'll help you remember what happened and remind you not to repeat your parents' mistakes. Will it? Will it do that? I don't really know. I don't feel like either of these choices are quite right. Like, should they just discard or destroy the crystal and try to live here and make the most of their lives here and now and not dwell on the past? Or is it good to remember the past to learn from it? I feel like the latter is more true, but at the same time, that means, like, indulging in this maybe unhealthy mindset even more? Oh boy. Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards option B in this case. Hold on to the crystal, even though it's harmful and, like, not really good to dwell on. Maybe... Oh, man. And I mean, they clearly understand that what their parents did was wrong, and they wouldn't have done that. They didn't want to do that, and that's good. That means they are better people than their parents, right? Yeah, let's say this, even though, again, neither of these is, like, exactly what I feel. I guess I'll just go with this for now, and maybe sometime in the future we'll have to see what else you can do here. So let's say that they should hold on to it. You know, we never looked at it that way before, but I think you're right, new friend. Yeah, we have the same powers as Mom and Dad, but we're not them. This is, like, coming at it from an angle that I think is a lot better, instead of just obsessing about them not being able to come back and stuff. It's more about, like, use it, learn from it, and become better people, hopefully. We won't do the same bad things as them. So like, we're not taking away the thing that is causing them pain, we're trying to make them use that thing to grow, you know? Like, it needs to be their choice, not like, oh, you shouldn't do this, just stop doing this, it's not healthy. Instead, like, making them turn that unhealthy thing into a healthy thing, possibly. I don't know. Right, you can use those powers to protect yourselves instead, and make sure you're never at someone else's mercy again. What? Right, and if your parents ever let you go back, maybe you can use those powers to bring them to justice for everything they've done. My god. Do we really want to go at it as, like, you two need to fucking kill your parents? But, like, neither... God, these options are terrible. I don't want to say either of these. Like, I don't want them to just go back and fucking bring their parents to justice in that sense, because, I mean, that's not really the lesson I'm trying to teach them, regardless of whether that's true that they should do that or not, but it's also just like, oh yeah, use your powers to like fucking stop anyone from ever controlling you ever again and shit. That's not really the point either. I actually feel like this is more unhealthy to say to them, because if that changes their mindset, like, I don't know, I just really dislike the way this is structured, this sentence or whatever, this option. So I guess I'm gonna have to go with this and say that they should be brought to justice or whatever, but we'll see, maybe they'll not be happy about that. Only one way to find out. Huh? That's... oh, huh. That's a really good idea. Wow, okay, they actually agree. Thanks for listening to us, new friend. This helped a lot. Yeah, we got something to look forward to now. Someday, we're gonna be a lot stronger. And once that happens, no one will dare stand against us. No, it's the same thing anyway. Fuck. Alright, just let me know if you want to talk about anything else, okay? We will. I feel like if I had said the other thing, it would have been equally bad, right? Like, that didn't seem to really matter in that aspect of it. Oh boy. Well, I guess that's that. And yeah, that is probably a good time to end it here as well. So, in this episode, we got the extended story about Elil and what happened to him, and now the extended story of the twins. Even though the twins were already done with the whole fable, which means we're probably gonna get more information about Lutra, because I was thinking, oh, the fables are done, maybe it's just like you get the last bits of the story if that person or that god becomes the god, the creator, but apparently now, like, we finished the Ketrianessi fable, and then we still continued talking about it and getting more information, so hopefully there's more about Lutra coming up. But yeah, wow. These were two very information-packed episodes. I mean, I guess most of them are, really. That's one of the things I love about this game. It just keeps introducing new things and new stories and changing the way you look and feel about everyone and everything, like, constantly. It's just very fascinating, and I love the writing so far. It's so engaging, but I don't know where it's gonna go, but the journey so far is just so completely, like, engrossing. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!